home and native land, Toronto's newest pulp culture podcast, covering your favorite comics, collectibles, media, nerderific origin stories, and more. Hosted by your northern neighbor, Jowy Pangolinin. Here it is, nerdos and nerdettes, Comic Sync.
Hey, nerdos and nerdettes, it's Comics Inc. This is Jowy.
This is Canya, and I'm not eating a pizza this time.
Man, with a pizza every time.
Pizza is life.
This is Anthony.
Leonard. Jeff.
Terrell.
And we're talking nerd talk again. First up in the list is what's going on with new DC, Canya?
Okay, so DC EU, I guess is what they're calling it, DC Entertainment Universe.
Yeah.
Dessous. I don't know if they're going to rebrand that, but
that means disappointed in French. Just want to say that.
Just putting that out there.
Wow, fatal. But there's some new news with them. So we just got announced that Kristen Wiig has been cast in Wonder Woman 2 as Cheetah, which is
Bridesmaids Cheetah.
I don't know, but we don't know what the Cheetah version is of her, but that's like pretty exciting. DC is also in talks with Christopher McQuarrie, who's director of the Mission Impossible franchise, to do Green Lantern Corps.
All right.
Which sounds kind of cool. And then also just a lot of...
I am too excited for that.
Yeah, you're like the big Green Lantern fan.
Keep going.
And then there's a lot of buzz right now just because they haven't released an official photo of what Shazam looks like. So there's a lot of on-set, creeper shots with Zachary Levi in costume. And they're filming actually right here in Toronto, which is pretty exciting. And pretty cool. None of us are there, unfortunately. To go and sneak on set, but we might.
We should have a Jimmy Olsen of the group that has like a press card and just kind of sneaks us in everywhere.
Yeah, that's the next
And
goal.
then always just gets captured.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the one thing that I really wanted, the two things I want to touch on, well, we can kind of touch on all of it, but...
We'll touch everything, sure.
Like, Joey is unopposed. First of all, Kristen Wiig, how do we feel about her as Cheetah?
I feel so good, actually.
I like her.
Yeah.
I think, she has the ability to do the serious roles. She's done it before, mostly indie stuff.
Yeah.
But I think that she has really great range to do it.
We need, a coy humor kind of girl. Yeah.
And I think that she would be, I honestly wasn't opposed to her being cast anyways. I was a fan of her anyway, from before, so
and
I'm excited.
As soon as I saw that, I already couldn't picture anybody else as being Cheetah immediately after, because Kristen Wiig also, she's coming from SNL, and she could adapt to so many different looks and so many different acting styles that I think it's going to work.
Yeah, and actually a lot of people on Reddit were posting, so there's this great shot of Barbara Ann Minerva on one of the covers of Wonder Woman from the Rucka run that happened recently, and people were actually comparing it, her style and design to Kristen Wiig and how similar these two women looked. So I definitely do see her being able to embody Barbara Ann and have that look and feel about her. I'm just curious to know how much of the physicality of that role can she handle with Cheetah, because Cheetah is really physical. She's really limber. She has a different kind of fighting style altogether because she's very much more animalistic. Yeah. So I'm curious to know how they're going to bring that through with Kristen Wiig, especially because Gal Gadot does a lot of her own stunts. Yeah, a lot of Wonder Woman
while she was pregnant.
While she was pregnant, So,
well, I don't disagree with her as Minerva and stuff, mostly because I don't know the actress very well. But the one thing I never really got is how is Cheetah such a big threat to Wonder Woman? This goddess.
Dude, she's the scary spice of DC.
I was really thinking there's a tiger and a goddess.
It's more. It's not so much there is that they can go toe to toe, but I think it was more about the relationship, because when they built Cheetah being Barbara Ann, Barbara Ann was Wonder Woman's friend. This was a woman that she became very close to. They were basically best friends, and then Barbara Ann gets corrupted by the Cheetah God and the spirit, and they end up becoming enemies. And the whole quest of Diana is to try to save her friend. So there's always this really tragic underlying element between them, and I think it's why in some cases Diana, when she fights her, there's a lot of restraint because she's recognizing that that's my possessed friend. I don't want to kill her kind of thing.
Okay, so that would explain why she can go to toe-to-toe, because, like, I'm going easy on you. Like, hey, please.
And easy to a degree, because we're not saying that Cheetah's depowered at all. She's quite powerful, like, in her own right, because it is a god that's inhabiting her body, so...
So god and god, so that's...
Yeah, god and god.
Is she revamped to have a god, or is she just... I thought she just mutated at first.
No, it was part of her origin. So Barbara Ann is a archaeologist, paleontologist, something like that. She's in Africa on a dig, and she ends up finding this artifact that belongs to the Cheetah God, which I am so sorry, Wonder Woman fans, I'm blanking on the name right now. I'm sorry, I'm failing you. But but that god actually ends up kind of corrupting Barbara Ann and making her into a vehicle of the Cheetah, and like it requires blood sacrifice. It requires a lot of that stuff, and she becomes corrupted by the power too. So part of like Diana's relationship with her, it's very complicated because it is your friend at the end of the day, and you know that there's like a push and pull, and they kind of make Cheetah a bit different villain-wise. So
yeah, no, it's interesting.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how that's going to play out in the film, but, you know, we all have faith in Patty Jenks, so...
They have to build that relationship you're talking about, because, if you, like you said, it's not about the power struggle, it's about the relationship.
Yeah, at the core, it's a relationship, so...
They gotta build that first, then corrupt that relationship, and then show you...
That's how all relationships work. Like, that's how Jeff and Cyril work. Yeah. A little bit.
You know what? I do prefer that kind of story arc versus the regular old movie formula of like, here's bad guy, fight bad guy, win, lose against bad guy.
I love how you're talking like Bizarro right now.
And then bad guy loses and falls off cliff and maybe might be in for good guy 2, Return of Bad Guy.
So basically, Steppenwolf in Justice League?
Basically. Said the S word already. And off to Green Lantern Corps. We were talking in our amazing group chat that I sometimes miss like 200 messages. I'm like, Jesus Christ, what did I miss?
Yeah, we use WhatsApp, if anyone's wondering what group chat we prefer, and like big shout out to the makers of WhatsApp for
making
this great app. So thanks,
What's
WhatsApp.
up?
Maybe sponsor us, WhatsApp.
God. We're really good at our dad jokes. We're gonna be great dads one day, guys. So Green Lantern.
Yeah, so that's Christopher McQuarrie. So you'll know him from directing the recent Mission Impossible movies. I think he did the last 3. So the one that's currently filming that'll be released, and as well as Rogue Nation and Ghost Protocol. And those have been great. Like, I am not a fan of Tom Cruise, but I do love the Mission Impossible film franchise. I think they're just fun movies. They're popcorn flicks. Like, they're just fun movies to go watch.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it though, like super excited.
Yeah, like
because it's not about the core anymore. It's not about how anymore. It's the core. You get your Kilowog and your Mogo.
I want to see the Squirrel Lantern again. Jax. No, I forgot that.
Dax.
We're terrible with names.
Trash Panda again.
We're terrible with names.
Prettier.
But it's going to be exciting, and you know, McQuarrie, he can handle an ensemble cast, which is something that I think is important for Green Lantern Corps. Yeah, you need to handle multiple people. But the one piece of news that people are speculating from this is, do you think Tom Cruise would be Hal Jordan?
No. Stop it. No.
So that was a resounding no from the Comics Inc. crew.
Yeah, it's gotta be Adam Sandler.
Adam Sandler crew. And who was it? Was it you that gave us the list?
And I'm blanking out on the names, but like Guy Gardner was a dude with long hair that's always in his movies.
David Spade.
David Spade.
And so
Chris Rock as Jon Stewart.
And then we had Rob Schneider as Kyle Rayner.
Because the only similarity between them is black hair, and that's good enough.
Is this the cast of grown-ups you're casting?
Cast of grown-ups, and we'll find.
And then it'll be like Chris Rock in like the Jon Stewart getup, and then he's like, "You can't just touch 2814," you know, with the hands and everything. You know? Seth Rogen as
Seth Rogen. He doesn't usually go with the crew, but like him as Mogo as an entire planet. You can just imagine this entire planet. Just like his head, just like being out there. All will be like, oh my god! Oh, there's zombies!
You're landing on my head! Oh my god!
I'm so down, actually.
So Adam Sandler, if you're listening,
comicsinc.ca.
Please make your, I guess, grown-ups cast get together to do a Green Lantern Corps, directed by you, of course, and probably written by you and Chris Rock.
We put Seth Rogen as Mogo, but we forgot about Kevin James.
Oh, Kevin James is Kilowog.
That makes sense.
Or as, I don't know, a Guardian.
Guardian.
No,
Well, no,
no,
remember
he's
I
Killmonger.
had my picks for the Guardians, so I
Yeah,
wanted
were they?
Danny DeVito
Yeah.
and
Yes.
Christopher Walken
as the Guardian.
and,
Oh my
Tom
God.
Cruise.
Tom Cruise as the
I love
Guardian.
Christopher Walken already.
So yeah,
I think it works.
that's what we're
He's
pitching.
the
That's the direction
cool
DC
power.
should go. It should
Yeah.
just be like the really
Yeah,
extreme comedic Green Lantern Corps,
yeah,
It's
and
a buddy cop movie.
a buddy cop movie.
Oh, Jordan.
Well,
In
they are
space.
cops. Galaxial chips
Yes.
can do that. But ultimately, Hal Jordan, Nathan Fillion. That's my
Oh my God! Yes, he already voices him, right?
If we're going
Yeah.
for an older Hal Jordan, 100% down. Like I
Hundo.
think he'd be great, and I think
Hundo.
getting a really like young actor to be a young Jon Stewart
Yeah,
to
I'm
like
down.
mentor with him, I think would be the most ideal choice. But if they were to get a younger Hal Jordan, I'm okay with Armie Hammer. I don't hate the guy. Like he's cool, and he has the right look. And he was great in that movie, The Man from U.N.C.L.E. with Henry Cavill,
Oh,
minus that Russian accent. Armie, don't ever
Don't
do
like
that
Russian
again.
accent.
His accent was
What is
just
wrong?
so bad.
I guess one of us could be.
It wasn't very much different from what you guys are doing now, but yeah, like I think Armie Hammer is probably a good choice.
Do you know
for
where I actually learned the Russian accent is from
Where?
Ben Affleck?
What?
I say it again in a second podcast because in Armageddon, there was a little bit there with the Russian components. Do you guys remember that? It's like
Oh.
the Russian components, Taiwan
Yeah.
components, all the same.
Yes.
Yeah, that
okay.
one.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
Orange is the New Black. But anyway, and then moving on to Jon Stewart, I bid Anthony to play him.
Oh,
hands
thank
down.
you. Thank
Yeah.
you. I did shave my head today, so
Yeah. And you can do the Philomar voice a little bit. Like I think it
I
works
can do
out.
it. I could do that. I definitely don't mind. Give me the green light for Green Lantern.
Yeah,
Yeah, of
Anthony
course.
does have acting experience. He was in a Ford commercial.
Da Fordo.
Da
Yeah.
Ford.
Yeah,
Ford.
built for talk.
That's right. You got it.
What about some love for Simon Baz, like our newest guy?
Yeah.
Simon Baz. I think actually, if I were to do a Simon Baz Jessica Cruz combo, Stephanie Beatrice from Brooklyn Nine-Nine would be my Jessica
Oh my
Cruz.
God,
Like she'd be
yeah.
great. Like everyone can see it.
Yeah.
And then if we were to go with Simon Baz, I really like either Riz Ahmed from he was in Rogue One,
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
and or if any of you watch Star Trek Discovery,
Oh my God.
Lateef is his last name. I'm blanking on his
Give me
first
his
name.
characters,
right
and
now.
then I'll know exactly. what you're talking
Tyler, Ash Tyler,
about. Tyler.
from,
Okay. All right.
from Star Trek Discovery, because I think he would also be a great Simon Baz. Like, I think that character should definitely be a man of Middle Eastern origin, just to get that
Yeah.
ethnicity flowing.
All
Well,
right.
speaking of ethnicity as well, reaching out to the Kyle Rayner fans, Kenya had mentioned in the group chat that our beloved Glenn from Walking Dead, Stephen
Yoon?
Yoon,
Yeah.
sorry, is a good pick for Kyle Rayner.
Yeah,
I
totally.
think I'm
Yeah.
totally down with that.
He's got that heart that, like, he brings across that heart that is very inherent to Kyle, and I can totally see Glenn as an artist, because, like, sorry, not Glenn.
Yeah.
Stevie,
You're Glenn now.
Yeah, no,
Because, like,
that earnestness, right, of the
the
character.
earnest- like, and he's like a hipster in real life, and like Kyle's
wow,
an
guys,
artist.
this
So
is
he-
Korean, man.
But yeah, I think I fan casted if we got Stephen Yoon to be Kyle Rayner, then
That's
it should
so
be Idris
cool.
Elba to be Jon Stewart.
Yes.
Just
Wait,
'cause
not
yes.
me? All right.
Sorry, he has to be an older Jon Stewart, and Idris, like, we love you, and Heimdall's amazing, but you're kind of wasted because you're just like you're there in the background supporting Thor when you should
Yeah.
be like leading the
I
fight.
hear ya.
So
He's the Watcher.
you need to be a
The
Green
Watcher.
Lantern.
Watcher
Yeah.
of the Rainbow
If you're
Bridge.
listening.
Sorry, I don't know
On
why
the
mine
Watcher.
had a Leeds accent for a second there. Yeah, I'm happy with that. And the question that I don't have an answer to this, but Carol Ferris.
Ooh.
Who are we thinking?
Who's our fan cast or Carol
Oh my
Ferris?
goodness.
I mean, I'm down. I could do it. No biggie. But yeah, no, I don't know. Like,
Well,
that's
like,
such a hard
what's
one.
the core of Carol Ferris's character? I've only like read a bit of
I
her.
feel like she's.
Yeah,
she
you're-
feels
Well,
Spider-
she
Green
gets
Lantern
left
expert.
out a lot.
Yeah,
Like, you know that just because obviously from Earth.
yeah.
But someone that is so first Carol Ferris, her dad owns the airline that, you know, obviously Ferris Air.
Airlines.
So, and she's a big person there. She's not just like some sort of receptionist. I'm sorry if there's any receptionist friends that I have. I'm not saying that that's not an important
That's a
role.
big job.
It's a very
Yeah,
big
but
role.
she's definitely higher in the
That she's more important than you.
exactly.
You're important. so he's
Yeah,
more
but
important.
she needs to have some boss lady aspects to her. But she's not one to shy away from telling how she really feels, and she does, want to empathize. Like, it's so hard to really pinpoint her. I actually thought Blake Lively did a good job with that.
I was gonna say I know it's not good to mention the old Green Lantern